How are you today? So I wanted to record a quick second live session because somebody I admire, somebody I look up to, uh, somebody I'd love to meet someday, frankly. Ray Dalio put out a LinkedIn post yesterday that gave me shivers. I'll actually try to find it again and post it in the notes below on this video. But basically what he did in this, again, LinkedIn post is basically warn us that what is going on right now is likely to lead to a very painful paradigm shift. So to hear his story, it's the classic, the Fed is pushing on his string, which I never really got. But when I hear him kind of walk us through this, you can see, a bad ending. So basically, my summary of his article or post or whatever you want to call it is the central banks of the world, so not only the US, but of the world, are currently in a cycle of printing money, whether that's dollars, yen, won, you know, euros, whatever it is, right? They are, they're in a cycle of having to create money. And, the system that it's injecting this money to is frankly already awash in money. So the return on this new set of created currencies, again around the world, are having to find even increasingly marginal ways of a return. Right? He highlighted that this is why we are seeing so many companies, just like the dot-com days, not have to be profitable. Right? He talked about investors buying hopes and dreams again. Right? Facebook and Google and whatnot have been game changing and certainly great investments for those who got in early. But what he is seeing now and proposing now is all this cash and currency coming in has investors risking it all on companies that are losing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a quarter, and it's going to end badly, right? So basically, all this cash coming in is being injected inefficiently, and it's chasing assets that are unlikely to provide a return. So kind of scary. In addition to that, where the cash and currency is being placed, it is now being placed into a market that is already high, i.e., stocks, real estate, and thus getting lower and lower returns. And returns can collapse only so much before it's a bad investment. And according to Ray, we're pretty much there. Then he talks about the ballooning debt, and again, the ballooning debt necessitates the Fed's creating more currency, and when does that break and interest rates rise? And again, more money being created into an environment where there's too much cash is the feedback loop eventually kind of breaks and caves in on itself as people realize that they are making risky bets, and it's not a good idea. And then he goes on to talk about pension plans and the like being you can't manage them. They're underfunded, and you're again going to either cut benefits, which he proposes is unlikely and certainly unpopular. You can raise taxes, which again are unpopular and likely unattractive. Or three, you can again print money. So lots of things are pushing the system to create more and more currency, and you know you can Ray didn't say this, but you can certainly see where this goes parabolic, and pretty much we could have currencies like the Zimbabwe dollar or whatever it was that that just was worthless, wasn't even worth the paper it was printed on. So kind of scary stuff. Again, I'll try to find the link so you can go read it yourself. He certainly didn't give time frames or any of this. He's just saying, hey, this can't go on forever, which I would agree with. We eventually have to pay for this. Kind of his closing comments really got me in that we didn't really pay the price in '08 when we could have had the great reset, right? The Fed and the government came in and quote unquote saved us, bailed everybody out. And We were right on the cusp of horrific price, right? The economy was in what would have happened if they didn't, right? We would certainly be in a different place today. Um, so it's scary to think that as bad as '08 was, that wasn't as bad as it could get. That's really frightening. So it was a scary article. I've read it a couple of times. I'll post